All right, so welcome to World Cup 2026 Extra Time. This is our final look at the two quarterfinals that happened yesterday. Both were huge, both went to extra time, both had goals in extra time, both had controversy with them. So let's start with the early game, and that was between England and Norway. And for all of the Messi talk, for all of the Kane talk, neither of those guys scored yesterday. Erling Haaland didn't score yesterday. It was Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham is now with 6 goals in this tournament. He has been hot over the knockout stages for England. Was big in the Mexico game, scoring two in less than 3 minutes, and scored two here as well. Scores in extra time in the 45th plus two, and then scores in the 93rd minute. Sugar up of Norway scored the first goal in the 36th minute. There was a little bit of controversy. We'll get to that in a second. This was an interesting game for England. This temperature was a big story here. It was plus 90s pretty much the entire time. It became a bit of an issue for a lot of teams watching, for a lot of players in that game. And I think that plus the defensive pressure became an issue for Erling Haaland, who ended up subbing out in extra time as pretty much the additional sub. And everyone's like, he must be injured. No, I think he was just tired. I think it's a game where you just needed stamina. And I don't know if Holland had it in that point. Like I said, is he the best player in the world? No, he's not. He's the best scorer in the world. And there's a big difference between those two distinctions. But Erling Haaland's World Cup is done. England moves on. So many things to say. So let's just start with this. The ball that hit the kind of cable, it was a very unfortunate break for Norway. I've seen people say it doesn't look like it touched. I certainly thought it touched when I saw it on replays, which means the play should have been dead and it should have been a drop ball from the next spot. I don't know what would have happened. It did show the flaws in Norway's defensive ability, although I do have to say Norway looked really impressive in this tournament in certain spots. But Norway just caught a tough break, and then obviously the Holland push off on the goal that was the second one. You can't tell me that wasn't a push off in any way, shape, or form. We've seen push offs in the World Cup go far beyond where the play was. Can't tell me that that one wasn't going to get called. Again, is it a tacky call? Maybe, but you know that play is going to get called every single time, and it did here. So it's a tough break, but that's the way it happened. And then the funny thing is, afterwards, Thomas Tuchel, the head coach of England, said the team played poorly, and at points that they did. You know, England definitely prides themselves on being a world-class team. They barely outshot Norway. They barely outpossessed Norway. They had less chances created. They had less corners. They had more offsides in the game. It was a tough game for England, I think. It was a struggle for England. I think these games are not the most impressive victories, which is funny because we have the impressive side between France and Spain, which we'll kind of talk about, and the unimpressive side between England and Argentina. Like, if you rate how these teams have looked, it'd be one France, two Spain, probably I would say three England, four Argentina, how they've looked going on to this point. But England moves on. It's only their fourth semifinal in their World Cup history. They're going to try to do what they couldn't do in 2018, and that is win their semifinal. The opponent was Croatia before. It's going to be a little tougher now. And for Norway, nothing to hang your head about. This is such a good run for your team that you're going to have to find ways to kind of fortify the rest of the team. But I feel like Norway is going to be back. And if you don't know who Erling Haaland is now, watch him when he plays for Man City in this club season coming up. He is going to be something special to watch, and I feel like that momentum might carry over. And as you know, England will play Argentina as they still have the possibility of being the first repeat World Cup champs in over 60 years, as Argentina beats Switzerland 3-1 in another extra time. I don't want to say classic. McAllister scores early on in this game. Alexis McAllister in the 10th minute. Switzerland follows back with Doye scoring in the 67th minute. And then here we go. And then here's the big controversy in this game, and that is the red card given on the second yellow to Embolo. Tough call, but looking at that, that looked as close to simulation as possible. And ironically enough, if we didn't see this in the US Paraguay game early on, you would have been very confused when you saw it again. But we literally saw it a month ago. We see it here now, and that is exactly the right call, getting him off the pitch. And ironically enough, Switzerland did not break for a long time after that. It took them 40 minutes of regular and stoppage time, 40 plus, to get Alvarez having the go-ahead goal, and then Lautaro Martinez, who Paredes was the one that had the initial challenge for Argentina, but it was Lautaro Martinez who got the finished off victory in stoppage time. Switzerland played the game that they needed to play. They just weren't able. The Dolo the red card of Embolo is going to look a lot. You're going to look back at that and see that's a key moment in this game because it really just took the legs out of Switzerland. Literally only 6 minutes after they scored the goal to make it 1-1. They could have easily, I don't know if they easily would have won, but they would have had a very good chance to at least get this to penalty shootout. But Switzerland kind of wilted in the end. You expect them to eventually when you're down so many men, and they move on. So for the first time ever, well, they've only had the rankings out since the 94 World Cup, the FIFA rankings, but the top four are going to meet over Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday will be France and Spain. Wednesday, it will be Argentina and England. We'll talk about those two matchups tomorrow as we get ready. The schedule for this upcoming week: Monday, probably around sometime around the night, we will release the preview for the two games coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday, I'll have a recap pretty much right after the game for Spain, France. Wednesday, Argentina, England. Get ready for that. It's going to be fun. And then we'll do a preview, kind of a combo preview of the third place game and the regular game on Saturday morning. And then Sunday, we will finish it off. And then I'll try to do like a post-mortem World Cup winners and losers next week. We'll talk next week. My name is Stephen Rabinowitz. This is World Cup 2026 Extra Time, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you haven't clicked it now, you know where to go. We're going to talk more about our future too of this pod coming up in the coming up next week. So enjoy the last few bits of the World Cup left. We'll talk to you soon.